So when you got into IU, man, what were the biggest adjustments you had to make to the Big Ten and the college game, physically and mentally?
Um, Physically, the game is a lot faster.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's athletic, so you're not getting them easy layups at the rim no more. You
Mm-hmm.
got that thing a little higher.
Yeah.
Um, and mentally, it was tough because everybody's the guy coming out of high school.
Right.
You have to, when you get into college, you have to fit into a role.
Mm-hmm.
So that adjustment is tough for a lot of people. And
Right.
mentally, you got to stay strong if you're gonna be successful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw your statistics, man. Probably didn't play as much as you wanted to your freshman year. I don't know what that won't care about the reasoning, but how did you handle that and manage to come back stronger the next year? Who were the people responsible for helping you get back to a stronger place the second year?
I would say the assistant coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they made sure, especially Chuck Martin. Shout out Chuck Martin.
Mm-hmm.
He would always come over and talk to me. Like, you just got to stay ready.
Yeah.
Your time is coming.
Mm-hmm.
And my freshman year, I wouldn't have played at all if we didn't have a couple of injuries down
Right.
this.
Yeah.
So good thing I took his advice, because when I did finally get in, I performed pretty well.
Mm-hmm. So is after your freshman year is when the coaching change happened?
Yep.
Okay, so you had to go in when you talked to Archie, and Archie give you a kind of an overview of what it was going to be your job at that time. What did he tell you?
He told me he wanted me to be a combo guard.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on who we had as the point guard, I would be playing a lot of the two, but also wanted me to run the one.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what's it like to go through a coaching change?
It's tough. I mean, I see it happen. It goes both ways sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
It could be really good for some players, or it could be, really
Mm-hmm.
bad for some players, depending on how the coaching style and
Mm-hmm.
all those things. Because originally you commit to a whole different coach, a whole different system,
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
and then everything changes. It's like, all right, well, how am I gonna fit in here?
Right.
Figuring that out is pretty tough.
I mean, it's hard. That's why I asked that question. It's tough for an 18, 19-year-old kid to just, after just committing to somebody, especially after 1 year. Maybe after 2 or 3 years, a little easier. You don't have many options, but after 1 year, it seems to be a little more difficult because the coaching styles and what the expectations are, man. So I completely understand that. What is the difference? What was the differences you noticed between Coach Crean and Coach Miller?
Two completely different people.
Mm-hmm.
Off the court. As far as a coach, they had two different coaching styles as well. Cream was more like running gun style, and Archie was more like slow down, back to the basket kind of ball.
Mm-hmm.
So that was probably the biggest differences.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that that style of play that Archie implemented, did you think it kind of held your game back a lot?
Oh, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because I'm a run and gun kind of player,
Right.
and that's the reason I committed to, IU for Crean, to playing Crean style play. But it took a lot of adjusting for me.
Mm-hmm. Was that a lot of conversations, a lot of frustrating moments, but you had that, you managed to get through it?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely a lot of those.
Got you. What you came off the bench a lot though. Was that by design? Was that you, or was that the coaching staff, or did you just get comfortable with it and say, you know what, I'm going to embrace this challenge?
Yeah, it was the coaching staff for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And we had to sit down a couple times about it, because I wanted to start at one point. I've been coming off the bench my whole career, even as a senior. And basically they just thought I was better off coming off the bench than starting, and they needed, a spark off the bench, and they wanted me to be that. So once I understood that, I embraced it, and just tried to be the best at it.
Yeah, you did a good job with that, man. I know that's difficult, especially being a top 5 all-time leading scorer in New York City, to being asked. People don't understand how tough that is, and they should have a lot of respect for you doing that. And I definitely understand that as a player, because I would have been pissed. But going to the next one. Your 30-point explosion against Florida State, man. What was different? To me, that was the Devonte Green that everybody had been waiting to see consistently. You know what I mean? So what was different about that game?
That was one of the first games where I finally just came out and said, you know what, I'm just gonna play ball. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
whatever happens, but I'm just gonna play ball.
Right.
And when I went into the game with that mindset, I was just like, you know, whatever happens, happens. Played a lot better. Like, you know, I was more fluent in my game and felt more like myself. And it took me 4 years to finally do that, but
definitely
I did make it happen.
Definitely. You guys were battling hard, man. First of all, Florida State's one of the best. That's what made that performance impressive, because Florida State's one of the best defensive teams historically. They keep guys in the league, you know, one namely Terrence Mann. Is his name Terrence Mann? Is it Terrence?
Yeah.
Yeah, Terrence Mann. You know, that handled his business in the playoffs last year, but that's what made that impressive, man. And your ability to get to the basket and get around those guys showed that you have professional ability. I mean, that was your coming out party, in my opinion. So salute to you on that. And but your senior year, your squad, man, y'all, it was good enough to make the playoffs, but it was taken from y'all, man. People don't understand. And me, I'm an athletic director in my hometown, man, over my school district, Peoria Public Schools, and when they took, you know, athletics away from me, I was depressed. I don't even lie; it would hurt me. So, but people don't understand the impact that COVID has had on you, you guys who were in the thick of and weren't allowed to continue your season, man. Talk a little bit about that situation.
Yeah, it was super depressing because we had just found out we would have made the tournament with the last game that we played that we won. We hadn't made the tournament my all 4 years. So that was big for me. And then the very next day, it was like, oh, yeah, well, Big Ten tournament's canceled.
Wow.
Like, at least we get to play in the NCAA. And it was like, well, no, NCAA is canceled too. So they just hit us. And then as a senior, coming out trying to be a pro now, all workouts are canceled. No training camps, no nothing, unless you was like a lottery pick who was getting invited out to do personal workouts. So it was tough, and a lot of guys was left without a job in 2020, and we're just you know, stuck at home because there wasn't much going on unless you went overseas, found a job overseas. But that was even tough because everybody's trying to go there. So it was just a tough year all around for basketball.
Yeah. So essentially, you was just basically what they call it, the sunken place. You were just kind of stuck. Like you couldn't move. You see your goal is right in front of you, and it's right there. But all of these restrictions and all of these barriers keeping you. So you essentially had to start over, and your journey to professionalism had to probably begin this year. Really, you know what I mean, as far as getting that attention and things like that. And I don't think people take that into account, you know, when it comes to what you guys had to go through, and some people still are going through today. But you kind of similar in a way to me when I played, because you know Bob Knight was under a lot of scrutiny at that time, man, and you played, but two coaches who are under a lot of scrutiny. How does that affect? You know, how does that scrutiny on Archie Miller and on Tom Crean, the pressure that kept building, affect you and the players, man? What did you guys talk about, or did you guys even talk about that? But I can see it on your faces, but I'm a player. Kind of talk to the people about how, you know, that chatter affects you guys as players.
Well, it's everybody hears the rumors, you know, when they're going on. So of course we all talked about it, and I mean it just affects the whole team really, because some guys are checked out early, you know, or you know, hoping the coach gets fired. And it's hard to be a team when the outside voices are coming in, you know. But it affect the coaches as well. So, you know, practices, mood swings would happen, you know, practices more difficult at times. And ultimately that just affects the whole team.
Absolutely. I mean, I just hearing you talk about that, man, I can imagine. Mine wasn't, it was just the media that that
Mhm.
interrupted our season, but yours was IU fans, it was media, it was everybody, man. And I don't think
Everywhere.
they
Yeah.
definitely don't understand the impact that has on you guys, man. And you did a good job with it, but they say you have a love-hate relationship with the fans. Was that true?
Yeah, it is true.
What was that about? Like what was
Oh, they used to kill me. They
really?
used to kill me. You know, they would kill me and then they would love me. So
Yeah,
it
that's love and hate.
was love hate. It was real
God,
love hate.
where did hate come from?
Um, well, because like I was speaking on earlier, most people from Indiana don't understand the culture of New York basketball and the
Mhm.
style of play. So
Mhm.
when I bring my little flair to the game and say I make a mistake or something,
Mhm.
they're like, "Oh, get this guy out of the game! Like, what is he doing?"
Right, I got you. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yep. But I think it was really when I'm just looking at the situation, I still think it was more, the pressure of the expectations that weren't being met, not necessarily you, but
For sure.
you just happened to be the dude that I think like what they say, with great expectations or great ability comes great responsibility. I just think
Hmm.
people saw more in you, but they don't know what the restrictions were. They don't know,
Yeah.
how hard it was for you to fit into that system that wasn't for you.